On today's show, pop siren Michelle Heaton on her musical marriage to Andy Scott-Lee.
And then he said, will you marry me? And my first words, I don't even know if you can put this, maybe you can bleep it out, with.
Plus, former Step star Lisa Scott-Lee on how she made the first move on future hubby Johnny Schentel.
I actually had to be quite bold, and after weeks and weeks of flirting, I made a little move on him on the tour bus, and I snogged him.
My first proper love was, I was 17, and I was at a party with my friend, and I saw this guy, and he was mad. He had a bright orange shirt on, and at the time I was quite shy and timid, but there's something about his extravagance that attracted me to him. So then I introduced myself, and we went out together for about 3 or 4 months. He was about 2 years older than me. He was going to university, and about 3 months later, he broke my heart and broke up with me. He said that it wasn't working out, but I think I was just a bit too young for him. Never mind, he got in touch recently and said he was gutted, so. I met Andy coming on 6 years ago, and we met basically on a tour called the Smash Hits Tour. And he was in the band with his brothers called 3SL, and Liberty X had just started. In fact, we were called Liberty back then, it was that new. And neither of us had released any material. And we had to share a dressing room on the tour because we were new bands, and new bands didn't have their own dressing room. So they put us with them, and obviously I was delighted because they were all very good-looking boys. And I remember sitting there with Kelly from Liberty X, and I remember thinking, which one shall I have? Not like that, but which one shall I go for? Because they were gorgeous. And I remember thinking that Anthony was a little bit too young for me. Stephen was a little bit too muscly for me. I didn't like too many muscles. But Andy was absolutely perfect, hit the nail on the head. And then we started to date. There was something about Andy, because he was quite shy at the beginning. I thought, right, if I want to go and date with this guy, I've got to make the first move. So I flirted with him for the whole entire week, and he was flirting back, so I knew that he liked me. But neither of us had made the first move until, I think it was the last evening, and he took me to my room, and he kissed, well, I kissed him, excuse me. I kissed him in the lift, and then he kissed me back. And then that was it. Oh, me and Andy had been together for 3 years before he proposed to me. And every year on our anniversary of when we actually got together, I would say, are you going to make an honest woman of me or not? And he just wasn't interested. He really didn't want to get married. I think his parents had been through a divorce, and he just didn't want that to happen to him. He wasn't against it at all. He just wasn't ready for it then. But I'm 28 now, so at the time I was 26. And maybe I was 25 and a half, I'm not sure. And I thought, I'm not getting any younger. I want to plan for the future. I want to have a family. I want to have a marriage. I want to have a home, and a family car, and all of that, as well as my job. I want to do all that. And he just wasn't ready for it. So I was beginning to think maybe it wasn't going to work. And then, totally out of the blue, he proposed. Really wasn't expecting it at all. So then that night came, and we went to a restaurant. And I remember getting very, very, very tipsy. And right at the end of the restaurant, at the end of the meal, they brought out some fortune cookies. And I opened my fortune cookie, and I was about to read it, and Andy said, oh, read it out, what does it say? And I said, it says, close your eyes, make a wish, watch it come true tonight. And he said, oh, you better do that then. So I closed my eyes, and I made a wish. And I obviously wished that someday Andy would propose to me. And I opened my eyes, and then he said, what did you wish for? And I was joking with him, and I said, well, the chances of Paul Walker walking through the door right now is quite slim, right? So I pretended I wished for Paul Walker. And he said, oh, there he is. So I was quite young, oh, where? And then as I turned round, he was on one knee with the ring that I had pointed out to him months prior to it. And then he said, will you marry me? And my first words, I don't even know if you can put this, maybe you can bleep it out, were... And anybody who saw the show, it wasn't because I was being rude, and it's not because I'm a horrible person or I'm crude or anything like that. It's because it was just an initial reaction. I thought he was joking. I thought he was taking the mickey out of me because he really didn't want to get engaged. And I said it in a really overwhelming type of way, and then I burst out in tears, and then I said, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then we hugged, and he said, you haven't even said yes yet. And I said, yes, of course. Me and Andy had always said that we wanted a cream wedding. We didn't want to wear white, but we wanted to wear like a cream and ivory. So I went to the wedding planner and told them that's the colours that we wanted to wear. So then they proposed ideas of what colours we could incorporate. At the beginning, we wanted to incorporate an orange type flower, like a coral colour, as well as cream. But then we decided to make it more classic and to go along the whole fairy tale thing, like fairy lights and cream candles, ivory. So everything was cream, whites, ivory, with a touch of yellow in some of the flowers, and it was absolutely perfect. The actual wedding hall where we got married in was just like a winter wonderland. It was like a fairy tale. It was absolutely beautiful. And then the marquee was a bit retro. It had pink flowers and bright yellow flowers, and it was a white floor. It was fantastic. And then we'd move back into the place where we got married, where we would have the meal. And again, it looked like a big fairy tale. All of the linen was cream, and the candles were cream, and massive flowers. We spent a fortune on flowers, and everyone said after the day that if there was one thing they remember from the wedding, apart from the speeches, it would be the flowers. It was amazing. I had actually saw the dress that I wanted before that. A friend of mine got married, and Katie Price was one of his bridesmaids, and she wore this dress from a designer called Anushka G. And I said to Kate, that's the dress I want to get married in. Obviously, it couldn't be the same. So I went to the designer that made it, and we worked together, introduced some sketches, and she incorporated what Kate had on as a bridesmaid and made it into a wedding dress, and made it a slightly different colour, different satin, and it was absolutely amazing. It was perfect. It was off the shoulder. It was like a heart cut. So it really made my bosom quite big. It was quite nice. It was very, very tight here, really slim fit into the hips, and then it just went out, and it had pleats, and each pleat had little pearls in them, and it was just amazing. She did all the bridesmaid dresses as well. I think the best thing for a successful marriage is honesty, and I don't just mean like little white lies and stuff, because everyone has little white lies. I'm talking about if you're out in a club and a guy comes on to you, and your husband's in the toilet and your husband comes back, tell him a guy came on to you. You know, sometimes you need to kick them up the backside, and it's brilliant to do that. Andy does that to me. And also, if there's a cute guy in the room, I don't mean rub it into your husband and say, oh, he's cute. But if your husband asks you, oh, do you think he's good looking? Say he's good looking if you think he's good looking. And it just makes the relationship so much easier, because you don't have all of this inner things going on, and it's just honest, and it's nice, and we can have a giggle, and Andy knows I'm never going to cheat on him. He knows I'm not going to go out with that cute guy in the corner. But if we have a bit of a laugh about it, it's quite nice. And you know, I see Andy looking at girls, and I say, oh, I saw you checking her out, and he goes, no, I didn't. I said, look, she was pretty. I don't mind you checking her out. Just don't do anything. And it's kind of nice, you know. I think if you go along life without anything like that in it, it's just builds up, and it explodes in the wrong way.
Still to come on Celebrity Brides Unveiled. A sneak peek behind the scenes at Hello Magazine's wedding specials. Plus, former Step star Lisa Scott-Lee on how she made the first move on future hubby Johnny Shentle.
My name is Juliet Hurd, and I'm the features editor of Hello Magazine UK. The magazine features a whole range of celebrities. I mean, from the superstars, the big international ones like Tom Cruise and Brad and Angelina and Nicole Kidman and Cameron Diaz. But as well, we also like all the homegrown celebrities. So the Coronation Street stars, the East Enders, the Tamsin Outhwaites. Another branch for us of particular importance are the society people, celebrities like Jasmine Guinness, whose wedding we covered last year, which was a beautiful affair in Ireland at the family castle, and also people like Jodie Kidd, who are in the sort of aristocratic circles as well. So it's a really broad range of people that we cover. Wedding editions, by and large, are the best sellers for Hello Magazine. Everybody loves a wedding. There's a great feel-good factor about them. Usually the covers look stunning, and the one thing which I think Hello does particularly well is give full coverage to the weddings on the cover. So often we don't have any other drop-ins on the front cover. It's just the wedding, and I think that's what people, celebrities in particular, like, because it's not you're not distracted by anything else. We just have a beautiful image of the bride and groom, the happy couple, and there aren't sort of lots of sort of lines all over it. It's just very clean and very inviting to the reader. Obviously, if there's a big wedding that's been announced, we'll immediately put in a phone call to the agent to register our interest and tell them that we're obviously the best people to cover it. In the case of Shane Ritchie, we've had a long association with him. We've covered the engagement, we've covered the baby stories, we've done Christmas stories with them, and it's just nice to complete the picture and do their wedding, which was a wonderful occasion a couple of weekends ago. For us, it was a fantastic wedding because it had the cast of EastEnders, it had people like Casey Ainsworth and as well Pauline Collins, so it was a real mix. Barbara Windsor, Perry Fenwick, Brian Connolly. So all those favourites that everybody loves to see. A big celebrity like Tom Cruise, he came to us because I think he felt, we would display it in the best possible taste, in the best possible way, and there was such huge interest in his wedding to Katie Holmes. I think he realised that people wanted to see as much of it as they possibly could, but also for him to be able to do it in a controlled way. The wedding of Charles and Camilla was huge for us, as you can imagine. I mean, the royal event of the year. They obviously released photos to the press, and I think because of the nature of Hello magazine, we were able to display them in the best possible way because we have the pages, the format, the space to do justice to such a big wedding. So we really went to town with Charles and Camilla's wedding, and you can see this, I don't know, something, well, extends over pages and pages and pages of coverage. But I mean, I don't think people expected to see that, and that issue was a complete sellout. So it was a huge success for their wedding. One of the other biggest weddings of the year for us last year was the Elizabeth Hurley wedding to Arun Nair, and we did that in two parts. We had the wedding first of all at Sudley Castle, and then we went to India to cover the second part of the ceremony, which was fantastic, absolutely traditional. The setting was very exotic and dramatic, and I think, those two issues sold fantastically well because people, again, just couldn't get enough of the pictures. Basically, they were just so stunning. I think there are many reasons why celebrities like to have their weddings covered. I mean, in some cases it is as simple as getting some money and paying for it. In other cases, I think they're aware that there's a large amount of interest in the wedding, and they do genuinely want to share the occasion with their fans. And celebrities are obviously aware, because of the interest, that there'll be perhaps a security issue. And when it is controlled and you do have a security presence, they know that unauthorised shots aren't going to get out. In the case of Rod Stewart and Penny Lancaster, when they got married recently, they did the pictures themselves. We covered the wedding exclusively, but in their case, they obviously were aware of the interest, and they chose to make a donation to charity. They weren't obviously looking for any money for themselves, but they were aware that there was huge public interest in the occasion. I think, again, they just wanted to share it with the fans and people around the world who were clamouring to see those gorgeous pictures.
Welcome to Great Fosters. Hi, this is where myself and Johnny got married 3 years ago, August 2004. It's an absolutely beautiful place, so follow me, I'll show you around. From a very, very young age, all I wanted to do was perform. I wanted to, be on the stage, and for me, I don't think it was about being famous. I think it was about doing what I loved. And I've got to say that boys and relationships kind of, took a backward step really, because I was so focused on, I danced every night of the week, and I went to singing classes and theatre school, and I did all of that, and that was my love actually. That was very much my first love. And so, yeah, that was the path that I had for myself. When I did meet Johnny, because he was a dancer, he was a singer, we instantly had that connection. and you know, we were on the stage together, and it created a whole magic that I'd never had with somebody else, you know, before. How it happened was I was in Steps. We were in a studio auditioning male dancers for our tour, and it was all very glamorous, and we were all very giggly and excited. You know, that the fact that we were auditioning guys was, you know, was quite appealing to most of the group, I have to say. H won't mind. And Johnny entered the room, and you know, I know this sounds really corny, but it went really slow-mo, and he walked in and I thought, wow, he's hot. And then he auditioned, and he was actually the most amazing dancer, very sexy, very funky, very masculine, you know. And that was it, as far as I was concerned. I turned to H and I said, he's got the job. So me and Johnny started rehearsing for a nationwide tour. And, you know, there's a bit of flirting going on. Well, a lot of flirting, really. And I think it was quite obvious to the group that, you know, there was a lot of chemistry on and off stage, you know, which is great for the show. It's great if you look like, you know, you're all getting on and having fun. But for Johnny, he's very much a professional, and it was actually in the contracts that you weren't allowed to fraternise with the artist. So I actually had to be quite bold, and after weeks and weeks of flirting, I made a little move on him on the tour bus, and I snogged him. Okay, so here we are, and we come through the little enchanting door, which is so cute, into the lobby. This beautiful open fireplace over there. Not that we had it on in August. So this is the Tithe Barn, 16th century. As you can see, it's so beautiful and old and very special. I thought this would be the perfect place to have our reception. It was absolutely buzzing with our family and friends. Myself and Johnny and our immediate family were on the top table here. We did all the speeches here, we had the most beautiful food here, we cut our wedding cake here, and this whole room was filled with lots of laughter and tears. And so, you know, we had a very romantic proposal. Johnny said we were going on a date, you know, to get dressed up, and we went down to the River Thames, and we went on a dinner cruise along the river, in a glass boat. It was all glass, it was very beautiful. And we had a 5-course meal, and I noticed that Johnny wasn't drinking, which, you know, we like to have the odd drink. I thought that was a bit strange. And then he asked me to sit on his knee in front of, you know, there was obviously a restaurant full of people. And he started saying sweet nothings, and I said to him, if you're going to say what I think you're going to say, you need to be on your knee, mate, kind of thing. And I got up and I sat back down, and then at that point he followed, and he got down on one knee, and he proposed in front of everybody, and the whole boat clapped. It was really beautiful. So once all our guests had been watered and fed, all the speeches had been told, we came into the orangery here, which is where we were joined with our evening guests as well. And yeah, it's where the party began, really. We had lots of bars and stools set up. We had the star cloth, the DJ, the entertainment was there as well. And we had, of course, the ice sculpture and the ice bar. We were actually engaged for 3 years before we got married. I was in Steps, Johnny was in here, so, you know, we were travelling all over the place. So I think it was quite good, really, because we had those 3 years. Or, you know, it's just, you know, to get used to each other and to find out more about each other and get used to the idea, really. And so that was really good because we really had foundations. You know, it wasn't on a whim. We knew each other really well, and we knew we wanted to do it. So I spent 2 out of those 3 years planning the wedding, which was just fantastic. I didn't have a wedding planner. I didn't want one, to be honest. I knew what I wanted, and you know, it's something that every girl thinks about from being pretty young. And I wanted the fairy tale. On my wish list was definitely horse and carriage, fireworks. Obviously, you know, a big wedding with all the family and friends there. We have big families, so we wanted everybody there. We wanted it to be traditional, so we opted for this beautiful, you know, stately manner. Instead of favours, because I'm not really into the almonds and all that kind of thing, we had lottery tickets for all our guests. And quite a few of them won quite a bit of money after, so that was a nice touch. After we had the entertainment, we asked everybody to come out this way to join us for the fireworks that we had. And I've got to say they were the most amazing fireworks. People said it was like being at Disney. And what I did was I themed the fireworks along to music, to some classical music. And so it was, made it really unique. And I think it's something that people really remembered from our wedding. I was going to say my wedding ring, but it's actually rings. I've got a couple of bands that surround my engagement ring, and I designed them. We had them made along with Johnny's, and we actually engraved each other's rings, but we weren't allowed to tell each other what the message was until obviously the day. So on the day we got a really nice surprise, and we'd actually engraved the same thing actually, which was quite weird, because we call each other Shelley Corning, love of my life, and obviously we couldn't fit all that on a ring, so we had LOLM. No, LOML! Oh no! Johnny's going to kill me. Okay, so this is the Rose Garden here. If you come through, there's a really beautiful bridge here, which is where we did the majority of our photographs. And there's also black swans in the moat around. So this is a beautiful bridge where we had a lot of our photographs. It's pretty oriental looking, really. Once we came down from the bridge, we pretty much set up camp here, and this is where we did the majority of our photographs with our bridesmaids, my brothers, Johnny's family, all our parents. And we had the beautiful bridge and the background of Great Fosters there, so I think it made for a stunning backdrop. I think the secret to a successful marriage is to have the love, to have the friendship, to have the communication, and I think, more importantly, to have fun, to just really love each other's company, want to, spend as much time together as you possibly can. And because, we work a lot, so we have to make sure that when we are together, it's special times. And I think, that's our secret. We don't really have to try, it just works. It's quite emotional coming back, really. It's nice that we've picked somewhere that is near to our home, because we come back, for our anniversaries. We just celebrated our 3rd anniversary here, and it's really nice to be able to see all the staff again and take in all the grounds, and obviously, it's just full of memories. And I'm really pleased because I did work hard on the wedding. 2 years is a long time. It was a massive project to organise, and it went so smoothly, and it was just so great that I'd love to do it all over again.
Next time, the very best of Celebrity Brides Unveiled. The revelations.
Oh, God, I hate magicians.
The seductions.
Burt Reynolds, he was in Cosmopolitan with his, a hat over it. And I says, I've got to see what's behind that hat.
The true love.
I was confronted with what if. I can't imagine my life without him.
And not to mention the odd wedding or two. Don't miss it.